Today, we are going to unravel the incredibly complex and, honestly, pretty contradictory state of global energy. And we're doing it by diving straight into the latest World Energy Outlook from the IEA. This is really a story about the surprising realities of where we are right now and the huge choices that will define our future.
So the IEA's report really frames our current moment around this one central puzzle. How can so many opposite things be true at the exact same time in our global energy system? It's a great question.
And this slide just illustrates that core paradox perfectly. On the one hand, in 2024, renewables set new records for the 23rd year in a row. I mean, that's a massive success story, right? But at the very same time, our consumption of oil, natural gas, and coal also hit all-time highs. We are literally accelerating in two directions at once.
So let's start by just mapping out this confusing, almost paradoxical landscape that we find ourselves in.
And believe me, the contradictions don't stop there. We've got major geopolitical conflicts, right? And yet, the oil markets have a big surplus. We just lived through the hottest year on record, but it feels like the momentum on climate policy is slowing down. And get this, the international system that global energy trade relies on is fracturing, even as we depend on it more than ever. The old rules just don't seem to apply anymore.
All this uncertainty, well, it leads to one of the biggest shifts in the whole report, a complete rethink of what energy security even means in the first place.
For decades, when you said energy security, you meant one thing: getting a steady supply of oil and gas. That was it. Well, that era is over. Today, those traditional risks are being joined by completely new vulnerabilities that are, frankly, just as critical.
And right at the heart of this new security landscape are what we call critical minerals. I mean, think about it. These are the fundamental building blocks of our entire modern world. They are absolutely vital for our power grids, for the batteries in your phone and in electric cars, for the chips that power AI, and even for our most advanced defense systems. Now, this is where that new risk becomes crystal clear. The supply chains for these minerals, they are incredibly concentrated. Just look at the refining dominance of a single country, China. For graphite, it's 98%. For rare earths, 90%. That level of concentration creates a brand new and, frankly, very acute vulnerability for global energy security.
This brings us to the second massive force that's reshaping our world. You see, the very technologies creating these new security risks, from EVs to AI, they're all powered by one thing: electricity. Its role is becoming more central than ever. We are well and truly entering the age of electricity. And just look at this projected growth, it's wild. Whether we just stick with the policies we have today or we follow through on all the promises governments have made, global electricity demand is set to grow by a staggering 40% by 2035. That's way faster than overall energy use. So you gotta ask, what's driving this huge surge?
Well, this demand is really coming from a few key places. First up, the absolute explosive growth of data centers and artificial intelligence. Second, the rising demand for air conditioning as the world gets warmer and wealthier. And of course, you have the steady electrification of our cars with EVs and the huge needs of advanced manufacturing.
And if you want one single fact to help you understand just how monumental this shift is, here it is. In 2025, for the very first time, global investment in data centers is projected to be more than all the spending on global oil supply. You know, people used to say data is the new oil. Well, it looks like the investment numbers are finally backing that up.
Okay, so this revolution in what kind of energy we use is happening at the same time as a revolution in where it's being used. The whole engine of global energy demand is kind of shifting its center of gravity to new parts of the world. You can practically see the story of the 21st century right here on this timeline. In the 2000s, it was the advanced economies driving growth. Then, for more than a decade, China was the undisputed center of the universe. And now? The baton is being passed again, this time to India, Southeast Asia, and other emerging economies.
And what's so fascinating is this incredible overlap between where energy demand is growing the fastest and where the world's best solar resources are. By 2035, a full 80% of all new energy consumption growth is going to happen in regions with high-quality sunlight. That is a massive opportunity for a solar-powered future.
So, given all these huge shifts, where are we actually headed? Well, the IEA doesn't give us one single prediction. Instead, it gives us three distinct scenarios. Think of them as three possible blueprints for our energy future, and it all depends on the choices we make starting right now.
Okay, so here's how they break down.
First, you've got the current policies path, which is pretty much business as usual. Then there's the stated policies path, which assumes governments actually do what they've promised to do. And finally, there's the really ambitious net zero path, which maps out an all-out push to limit global warming to 1.5 degrees Celsius.
And believe me, the path we choose has dramatically different outcomes. Just take oil demand. In that business-as-usual scenario, it just keeps on growing. In the stated promises path, it kind of plateaus around 2030 and then starts a slow decline. And in a net zero world, it falls off a cliff.
And of course, these energy choices have direct, real-world consequences for our climate. The business-as-usual path leads us to almost 3 degrees of warming. Not good. The stated promises path gets us to around 2.5 degrees. Better, but still not great. And it's only that massive effort of the net zero scenario that brings warming back down below that 1.5 degree target by the end of the century.
So what does this all mean? Let's boil it down. We've seen 4 key forces that are shaping our future. First, energy security has new front lines. It's about critical minerals and grid stability now. Second, electricity is the new center of the global economy. Third, the world's energy growth is shifting to new players. And maybe most important of all, the future isn't set in stone. The policy choices we make are going to create profoundly different worlds.
Ultimately, what the IEA report shows us is that our energy future isn't some forecast we just have to read and accept. It's a story that hasn't been written yet. And so the crucial question it leaves us with is this: what choices are we going to make to write it?